But you know, you also don't want to get too political with your stand-up, especially when you're in front of a new room. But I realized the line that you can always say in any stand-up thing, in any condition, and under any situation. This is the line that for the rest of your life you'll always be able to put into a comedy act. So did you hear what they said about Donald Trump this week? Because whether you like him or you hate him, they're always talking about him. And whether you don't agree with him on anything or you agree with him on everything, you're probably sick of hearing the name. You'd at least like to hear someone else saying the thing you agree with or disagree with. This is a piece called Without. Without social media, how would we know if our high school crushes are still cute? Without social media, how would our favorite celebrities tell us who to be mad at this week? Without social media, how would we have a minute-by-minute recap of the downfall of Western civilization? Without social media, how would we know that one angle where we're the least ugly? Without social media, how would we know which of our ideas are actually worthwhile, measured out in favorites, in spoons, and likes by coffee spoons? How would we know that saying maybe to a Facebook event means no? And how would we know that yes means maybe? Without social media, how would we even breathe air? How would we drink water? How would we eat food if we couldn't show pictures of the air, of the water, of the food for others to judge? How would we know if it tastes any good if we don't ask other people? Without social media, we'd all have to decide our own lives and our own worth for ourselves in the vacuum of a life only self-reflected. And God, that sounds hard. They had it so hard without social media, didn't they? It sounds so hard. It sounds so hard. Don't you agree that it sounds hard? Please like, share, favorite, retweet, and subscribe if you think that sounds really hard. You see, I'm of the opinion that the one good thing that social media has done for us is now we don't have to go to our high school reunions. Because now we know that everyone's broke and everyone's fat and ugly now, and we don't have to pay $50 and drink punch out of a bowl in like a VFW hall to find out. Because really, what's worse than that? This is a piece. Sometimes I will also perform as sort of a motivational speaker. This is a piece that I like to do as a part of a talk that I do about the value of comedy in our society. The way that we can use comedy to get people talking to each other again. The way that we can challenge our own, perspectives on looking at the world. Because I looked at something very differently in this piece. It's called Missing Links. Just because I don't understand your lifestyle choice as golfers doesn't mean I think you shouldn't be allowed to get married. It's not my thing. I don't golf. I'd prefer not to golf myself. I'd prefer to not have to watch your golfing. But just because the whole thing is bizarre and distasteful to me, who am I to tell you not to golf on your own time, in your own house, on your own field? Who am I to tell you as a golfer not to get married? I mean, I experimented a little with golfing. We all experimented a little with golf in college. We all played a little mini golf, a little putt-putt. It just never stuck with me, right? I never got much out of it. But that doesn't mean that it's wrong for you to golf. Just not my thing. I couldn't handle the loud clothing. I couldn't handle the little gloves and the precious spiky shoes, let alone that pride parade they hold in Augusta, Georgia, sweltering heat in August. But I'd never tell them they can't march up and down that patch of green in their loud, colorful clothes. I'd never tell them not to golf. I don't understand the golf subculture. I don't know if they were born that way or if something happened to make them desire something so strange to me, but I'd never tell them they can't golf. I don't want to watch them golf, but I'd never tell them they can't golf. I never tell them they can't get married. I'll never understand myself what compels these people to spend their time putting in the rough, obsessed with balls and holes, but man, I'd never tell them not to love what they love. That would be stupid. I was on the topic of lemons here. I seem to write a lot of things about television or food. I don't know if that says a lot about me culturally or as a person or my generation. But I write a lot of things about either television or food. This is called Pineapples Express. What if pineapples are actually eggs laid by the most unfortunate breed of bird ever? Can you imagine them laying their eggs? How good must sex feel for that kind of bird? If knowing that that egg is love's final product. How awful must it be? How much must they hate their bird children when they're sitting there, sassing back to them while they're texting their bird friend on their cellular phone? Do you even understand what I went through to make you exist? I pushed the pineapple out of my damn body. On second thought, it's probably really good that pineapples are just fruit, and the worst thing that pineapples can do is ruin the idea of pizza. I mean, I'll take ruining pizza over ruining an entire race of the birds any day of the week. Yeah. So I think about things a lot. I had a long drive down here. I come from Little Falls, about 50, 55 minutes northeast of here. You get on the thruway, and you pay them 80 cents so that you can drive 17 miles to Canajoharie. And then you drive down Route 10 through all these little swirls and all these rich people's hotels, and then there's a trailer, and then there's a rich people's hotel and a trailer. It's interesting scenery. There's all these suicidal deer along the way. You know, I think that it might be not that they're like looking for food or anything. I think it might be their religion. I think that the deer might be suicide bombers for the deer religion. This is something I was thinking about deeply as I was coming. It's like, Allah Akbar! And it just runs in your car. These are the things I think about while I'm driving. But I will say, right, a couple of weeks ago we had that whole thing where if you're on the internet at all, everybody was like, oh, these people are complaining about the snow. Haven't they lived up here their entire life? Look, okay. Yeah, we've all lived up here our entire lives. We all know it's going to snow in November. But you know what? If you got kicked in the crotch every single morning, and you were expecting it every single morning, it would still hurt. It would hurt every single morning, no matter how much you suspected it, no matter how much you predicted it, your balls are still going to hurt in the morning. And that's what winter is like around here. A humiliating kick in the crotch that we expect, but it still hurts. And speaking of things that hurt, a twist of the knife. In 20 years, my email accounts will still be receiving junk mail from stores where I bought presents for ex-girlfriends. When I am so long dead, my email will still be receiving junk mail from stores where I bought presents for ex-girlfriends. When the sun explodes upon itself in a hell of iron and fire, my junk mail will still be receiving emails from stores where I bought presents from ex-girlfriends. Tomorrow, my email will receive junk mail. One piece at least from a store where I bought presents for ex-girlfriends. And it will still hurt a little. Not all that much, but just enough to feel it. Just enough to know there's something in the past that belongs back in the dust of time, but capitalism will keep bringing it back anyway, throwing it right in my face. These junk mails of gifts for ex-girlfriends, in the hope of squeezing another $20 out of me at Michael's Arts and Crafts. Commerce sticks the knife in just for another little twist, but only just the tip. Only just the tip. You know, that's the thing, right? As I dated, my longest term relationship was for my 20s and beginning of my 30s with an arts and crafts woman. And here's a tip. You learn from being in those boring places. Michael's and Joanne's. They're like Catholic limbo. It doesn't hurt, but nothing is interesting. And you're in these arts and crafts stores, right? You're in these arts and crafts stores, and you realize something when you have a girlfriend who's an artificial florist in a Michael's. If you ever need to use the bathroom, the cleanest bathrooms in the world are in arts and crafts stores. Because those men's rooms are almost never used. Occasionally, a very fastidious gay man who probably wipes everything down afterwards uses it. And that's it. If you need to use a clean bathroom, go to the men's room at an arts and crafts. As I was coming down Route 10, you know, I was enjoying the scenery, and you could tell that you guys were just out of the leaf peeper season that Sharon Springs and Cobleskill and Cooperstown get. The leaf peepers coming through. The rich people from the cities who spread a little of their money up here looking at trees. And I was thinking about it. And what's more heavy metal than leaf peeping? Driving out into the countryside, into the autumn, and you're like, let's get in the car and watch the leaves die. It's so brutal. Let's go crunch around in the corpses of leaves. Let's bear witness to the deaths of trees. Maybe we'll buy a pumpkin and we'll carve something into its face. We'll buy apple blood crushed along the way. Let's jump in a pile of leaf corpses and show how we're in love. We'll get pancakes and drown them in tree vital fluids. We'll put on cokes and hand out food just like we're druids. It's hardcore is all that I'm saying. It's like a day trip into the darkest, bleakest, blackest metal. To go off into the hills, to look at the dead things. It's so brutal. I have a couple more pieces here. I thank you all so much for listening. Thank you to Chris and everyone here. Thank you to Ed for inviting me. Thank you to my friend Robin, who's a local, who was very nice to show up here and have a lovely dinner with me. One of her daughters was very goth, so she probably knows that heavy metal bit there. I have two more pieces for y'all tonight, and one of them is, again, too much food and too much television. This is called Shaggy Dog Story. My favorite thing about Scooby-Doo was their steadfast debunking of supernatural hoaxes that were much, 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 much more possible than their talking dog. Aliens? Ghosts? Nah, those gotta be like amusement park owners in masks. Those things can't possibly be real. Just ask our talking dog. Not only that, but a whole family of talking dogs, right? A whole gene line of talking dogs. Scrappy-Doo and Scooby-Dum, a veritable secret of Nim of talking dogs. But pirate ghosts? No. Pirate ghosts, those must be gold miners with a hologram projector. Isn't that right? Genetically aberrant talking dog, right? Like every talking dog in the show, right? They're all related to Scooby-Doo. So it's like this isn't some weird hellscape where all dogs can talk. We never see a talking dog who isn't related to their talking dog to their talking dog. So it's not like we're in a place where all dogs are sapient. Dogs are not a normal thing in their world. And yet, to these kids, the idea of there being intelligent life up there somewhere in the vastness of outer space, that's a joke to them. That's just silly. And you know who agrees? Their talking dog! My favorite thing about Scooby-Doo is pretending that I could jump into the television and rip the rubber mask off of the dog. And it's a perverted old man who pretended to be a talking dog just to get in the van where he could see Velma naked. And this man would say to me, and I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for that unconventionally handsome poet. And then maybe I'd give me some time myself with Velma. I mean, I'm into nerdy girls, and she's got to be legal, right? They let her drive the van. So once again, I'd like to thank you all. I'm going to close out with this piece. This is a piece I've done a lot of places. It's people who are colleagues of mine will know it. I hope you have walked away from this weird presentation with at least a little more acceptance of the idea of stand-up poetry, that you can come up and write something as a funny poem and still be a jackass stand-up comic. This is a piece that some people have liked. It's one of my few prop pieces, as with the lemons. It's called If I Had Abs. If I had abs, everything would be better. If I had abs, I would be self-confident and have a job. If I had abs, I would be famous and successful. If I had abs, women would throw themselves at me, and I would catch them with my rock-hard abs. If I had abs. If I had abs, I would reach my full potential. If I had abs, I would be the werewolf from Twilight. If I had abs, I would use them to cure cancer. If I had abs, they could negotiate a lasting two-state solution in Palestine and Israel. If I had abs, I would use them to prevent the Kennedy assassination. And as my reward, I would get a three-way with Marilyn and Jackie if I had abs. If I had abs, everything would come too easily. Because as they all say, absolute abs corrupt absolutely. If I had abs, I would become ungrateful. If I had abs, I would lord them over everyone. Because the male equivalent of boys don't make passes at girls who wear glasses is girls don't keep tabs on boys without abs. If I had abs, let's face it, I would be a gigantic jerk about it. But no one would stop me. Because my abs would be so beautiful. If I had abs. If I had abs, they would rule my life. I'd be doing burpees and crunches and a whole lot of other things that I don't know what they are. All my time would go into maintaining them. But if I had abs, I wouldn't have 6 of them like some television actor. I would have 12 abs. I would have 16 abs. I would have 23 abs. I don't even know if you can have an odd number of abs, but I would have them. If I had abs, I would like myself too much. If I had abs, I wouldn't have to be smart or charming or nice. I would just get my abs. If I had abs, I would grate cheese on them. And after the show, I would share with you all a great plate of abs-grated quesadillas. It would be wonderful. If I had abs, I would be a horrible, self-satisfied, terrible human being. And pretty much you wouldn't want to know me except to lick my abs. But maybe that'd be good enough for me, and maybe that'd be good enough for you. If I had abs, I don't even know. But I'll tell you one thing. If I had abs, I would save hundreds of dollars a year on Sharpie markers because I wouldn't have to go around drawing abs in my stomach because I feel so bad about myself. And hey, that's money in the bank, but I don't have it. So I have to come up here and do jokes and poetry for the fine people of Cobleskill. Thank you all so much. Welcome our host, Jerry Dymond, back up.
For Mike the poet over here, everybody. Oh my God. Wow. If I had abs, let me tell you something. I could do more than I'm doing now. Good Lord. You all have a good time so far? Yeah. All doing good? Make sure you do your bartender and everything. Dating's been crazy for me. You know, I just got engaged again recently. Yeah, I've been married twice and engaged 4 times, so you guys do the math. It's not easy, I tell you, especially being me. What's with my glasses? Or in my hand. See, I need glasses to see my glasses. How sad is that? But dating for me before that was really, really bad. It was good and it was bad, you know? Like when you go on a date with someone you really like, that tingly feeling you get when you're someone you're attracted to, that's just common sense leaving your body. That's all that is. But one time I was on a blind date one time. I was on the corner up in Albany, waiting for this girl to show up. I waited 2 hours, okay? And this girl comes up, and I go to her, excuse me, is your name Suzanne? And she looked at me like, are you Jerry? And I go, yeah. Well, I'm not Suzanne. She keeps on walking. That's crazy. I one time dated a girl so young that she thought that Earth, Wind, and Fire were the Power Rangers. I dated a homeless girl. I tell you, a homeless person, they're really fun. They're really good.